Welcome to the first new series of 2023 here on SwitchForce. This is Nintendo All-Stars, and it's a way to bring this community even closer together. I feel like the Nintendo YouTube community, it's a lot of the same players and the same faces over and over again. We're all very aware of each other, but sometimes there's not a lot of intermingling, and I kind of want to change that. So Nintendo All-Stars will be focusing on what's going down with all of the big players in the Nintendo Switch scene on YouTube. It's a way for you to get a morsel from a bunch of different channels, not just me, but everyone else, and maybe find some exciting videos to watch, or at least get a recap of what's going down. I'll also be featuring a smaller channel every episode, and that way we can bring some shine and some light to some underappreciated creators that definitely deserve more eyeballs and more ear listens, and maybe you can add a new subscription to your list, and that way we grow the community even further. I just feel like it's really important to build the positivity and build the fun that we have with Nintendo here on YouTube, and I think I think it's a good thing to do. I think it'll be really fun, and I do think it'll be beneficial, especially for those of you who don't have a ton of time and can't watch 500 videos a week. I know I definitely can. We'll kick it off with Beat 'em Ups. Beat 'em Ups over there has been checking out the Aya Neo 2. Now this is a Steam Deck Nintendo Switch alternative, and he really likes it. He appreciates the 1920 by 1200p screen. It's full HD. The games look better and perform better than on any other portable handheld. It's got a nice, sleek, all-glass front. There's no bezel. It's just a really well-made system, but customization-wise, you got the sky's the limit, but that also makes it more difficult to set up and not as user-friendly. On top of that, the Aya Neo 2 costs $1,100. I'm instantly writing it off. I don't care how well it runs, how good it performs. $1,100! I could get a Switch OLED, a special edition one at that, and 10 games and still have change left over for all of my indies. Or I could get a Steam Deck and fill that console up to maximum capacity with all the games on sale. I'm sorry, but $1,100 is just way too much for me to spend on a handheld that isn't doing anything crazy. It's just a step up. Speaking of a step up, it seems like Fire Emblem Engage is a real step up in terms of the combat. GameXplain got to play a ton of this game. I wish that I got to play it. Good for them, though. And they say that the combat is really the focus here. More fighting, less talking, and similar to those on the internet and other sites and other videos, they really liked it. They're really excited, and it seems like Fire Emblem Engage is going to be a game that is hard to put down. Whether you prefer the Three Houses style or this more combat-centric style, that'll be up to you. But January 20th is right around the corner, and I think it's super smart of Nintendo to hit the ground running with a really cool title that caters to a very excited and rabid fan base, but also shows that the Switch has so many different genres and so many different franchises that all can be super successful. It's not like we're just dumping Mario after Mario after Mario. There's a ton of Fire Emblem on Switch. And I don't think that's something we may have predicted when this system first launched, but it's again an example of how Nintendo has blended their handheld franchises and their home console franchises to massive success for both on Nintendo Switch. GameXplain also is doing a special stream to celebrate the Mario and Luigi franchise. I love that. Big thumbs up, because I'm so sad that that franchise and Alpha Dream are kind of buried. I wish they would do another super cool Mario RPG. Not Paper Mario, but Mario and Luigi Bowser's Inside Story. Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga. Or, get this Nintendo, be crazy, do something unthinkable. Wario and Waluigi. This is the perfect kind of game to release in this summer. Thank me later, but that should be a cool stream, and I haven't played those games in a long time. I love them so much. They're fantastic. Maybe one day Nintendo will port or bring via GBA Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga, and then Fawful is going to be filling up all of your brains. My man RGT85 over there covering a really suspicious Italian GameStop Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom leak. Now, to RGT's credit, he says this seems bogus, and I agree. Although the contents of the leak are super interesting. It's talking about Zelda Tears of the Kingdom's online systems, and basically saying it'll have a form of explorative online co-op, as well as a way for players to leave items and messages a la Dark Souls. Now, wouldn't that be pretty nifty if Nintendo and Zelda borrowed from the Soulsplosion that we've seen over the last decade with Dark Souls and Bloodborne, and most recently Game of the Year winner Elden Ring? I think that would be a really nifty place to borrow from, but I feel like this leak that originates in 4chan and has a flyer that they're supposedly passing out at GameStops in Italy, it just looks very bogus, pretty amateur, and like a definitive Photoshop fake, but you can check it out for yourself. And then he's also talking about GameCube games coming to Switch. And could 2023 be a big year for GameCube to resurrect itself via remasters on Switch, primarily with the recent Metroid Prime rumors and with the F-Zero rumors that we covered here on SwitchForce, and talking about how that could be sort of a renaissance for GameCube on Switch, in the same way that a few years back there was a 3DS renaissance on Switch with Luigi's Mansion 3 and Fire Emblem Three Houses. Good old Spawn Wave is covering the gamut of news, but I found two Nintendo tidbits in particular interesting. Bandai Namco is partnering up again, supposedly for a new Switch game, and Spawn Wave is sure it's Kid Icarus Uprising being remastered for Nintendo Switch. Brought forward to have a much bigger audience and a much greater chance of success. We know that Sakurai kind of made a mention about Kid Icarus, and we know that that's a game that he really loves, and despite his sort of pseudo-retirement, Nintendo definitely could push forward without him on bringing that back. And Kid Icarus is probably a franchise that would benefit tremendously from Nintendo Switch, and maybe even help yield a new entry in the franchise if Uprising could perform well. And it's a good chance for Nintendo to practice the remaster thing, because they haven't really done that. But if they're going to do it with Metroid Prime, and they're going to do it with F-Zero, and they're going to do it with Kid Icarus, then they're really setting the table and establishing a precedent for them to do this a lot, which I don't know if that's a great thing. You got the GameCube stuff coming, you got potentially more 3DS stuff coming. I don't know. I liked last year where we didn't really have many ports and it was all just new stuff, but alas, Nintendo will do what Nintendo does best. Arlo, the blue guy, the Muppet, the main squeeze, he's over there talking about his year in review 2022, going through how he felt about Nintendo's directs, the game releases, and the overall goodness of Nintendo this past 12 months. And in hindsight, I think Nintendo actually really crushed it. Although all this kind of content about end of the year stuff, it's really hard because I feel like it is such a short lifespan. Like as soon as we get to the new year, people are on to new stuff. I've kind of avoided doing a lot of end of the year recap stuff this past year and even back in 2021 because I feel like it just doesn't last, and everybody's doing it. Like there's so many Game of the Year awards, there's so many articles, there's so many diatribes about what went right and what went wrong. You kind of get my opinion based on other videos as well, covering throughout the year and then covering what's ahead. I kind of try to pack my videos in with more depth, right? Like I like to give you like a lot of information from me in a short period of time. So I'll throw in anecdotes about what I thought about this or how I feel about that or when I played that. I don't know. I like to keep it dynamic. But let me know if you think end of the year stuff is something I should really add for 2023. I will mark it down, I will add it, and we'll have a 3-hour podcast about what it was like to correctly predict the release of the next Nintendo hardware system in 2023, right around the launch of Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, which ended up winning Game of the Year due to its 4K power and beautiful performance. And last but certainly not least, let's bring some shine to the gaming shelf. This guy makes great content focused primarily on JRPGs, and he posted an awesome look at why Chained Echoes was his game of the year. Now, this is an indie title that you can play on Switch, and it got completely overlooked because it came out when everyone was very busy doing other things for the holiday season. But apparently Chained Echoes is like the RPG that's making great steps forward with its overdrive system via combat and has really nifty pixel art with extra animation frames so that it actually looks more modern and evolved and not just, that's a cute throwback. Now, he also recently posted a video about 60 JRPGs you can play in 2023. Is it even physically possible to defeat 60 JRPGs in a year? I don't think so, but there are plenty of options if that is your genre of choice, and I think the dude over there makes really great content and you should absolutely check it out. Whew, a lot of videos, a lot to talk about, a lot of interesting subjects and cool content being made around the Nintendo sphere, a lot of Nintendo All-Stars out there. And if you have a favorite that you want me to feature next time, let me know in the comments down below. I hope you guys enjoy this as sort of an aggregator of all the cool Nintendo stuff that's going on out there, and a fun way to maybe find a new video or a new creator to follow. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. And until next time, my wonderful people, love you lots, appreciate you even more. SwitchForce out.